Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Stacy, and I am here by myself live tonight. So I wanted to just say hello and just begin to talk about a subject that is very important. And I'm going to lower my phone. I wanted to bring about my quote of the week. And today, since we don't have Blanca with us, I'm not going to be able to have my PowerPoint, my pretty PowerPoint, but I am going to still talk about it anyway. And feel free to chime in and say hello because I didn't want to miss another week. I'm actually getting married. So I'm not sure about next week, but I would like to potentially do something next week, but I know on the 17th is my wedding day. Woo, woo. Congratulations to me. And I want to be able to continue this when I get back. So I will be taking a couple weeks hiatus. And I can't see, so I got to put my glasses back on. I'm getting old. Just like my subject is lubrication. When you get older, you need some lubrication. When you get older, you might need some glasses. But anyway, so my quote of the week today is, "Trust is the best lubrication to having amazing sex." And that's by C.V. Pillay. Trust is the best lubrication to having amazing sex. And why do I say that? I believe that when you are trusting your partner, and it's not just trusting them if they're having an affair or trusting them, to do things that they say they're going to do. I mean, it's just about trust in general, just to feel safe with your partner and feel like you can be vulnerable, because that's a big thing with trust, is being vulnerable. And if you can trust somebody, you can open yourself up to them. And I think that that helps a lot with your mindset. And I like the way it kind of said that trust is the best lubrication, because lubrication is our subject that we're going to talk about tonight. And basically just saying that trust is the lubrication to amazing sex, it just means the more you trust, the more you open up, the more vulnerable you are, the better your mind and body will become lubricated. So that's my subject of tonight. Now, if you can see, I'm going along with my PowerPoint, but I'm putting it on the computer. I have to show you this. See? Sexy subject is lubrication. You see the nice little penis there? Well, I'm sorry, it's not. It's an eggplant with stuff coming down. Lubrication. Anyway, I might do that a couple times in between. I hope it doesn't make everybody dizzy. But lubrication is my subject tonight. And I think that it's very important for people to understand the benefits of lubrication, because many people don't. And then they wind up, it's like going down a slide, dry, like a water slide, going down a water slide dry in a bathing suit, and you want to have the water going down with you so it makes the ride that much smoother. That's what lubrication is all about. So benefits of lubrication: you're going to add moisture, it's going to intensify your pleasure. It's a definite, you have to have lubrication for anal sex. The butt does not lubricate itself. Remember that. So anytime you do anything in the backside, you need to make sure you have lubrication. So honestly, I think the best thing that you can do for the backside for lubrication is any type of a silicone or an organic coconut oil, because since the behind does not lubricate itself, the water-based lubes may get absorbed easier, and then it may not glide as well. But I'm going to go into all the different types of lubes. But first, I just basically want to discuss the benefits of lubrication, so that way you know at least why you should use it. It also helps for a lot of women that have painful sex, or maybe in different parts of your cycle. It helps reduce friction. It helps to be less painful for the women. And even for the men, the friction, it reduces that friction for people to be able to have a little bit more of a smooth ride. Also, sometimes without lubrication, people have very sensitive tissue down there, and you don't want it to tear. You don't want it to be uncomfortable. Hi, Shelly. Vajayjay. We are talking about the vajayjay. Yes, we are talking about it right now. We need lubrication for the vajayjay. It also comes in a lot of fun flavors, so you could also make it enjoyable that way, where, sometimes it may be a little awkward or uncomfortable if you're having sex and you have to say, oh, wait, let's go get some lube. So what is nice about it, you could say, oh, you want to taste a little strawberry on me? You want to taste a little chocolate or whatever it is. So fun flavors can be very helpful to kind of make it a little bit more of that transition while you're having sex if you realize you need a little extra lube. And also some lubes can increase sensitivity. There's a couple of different lubrications that have either some pheromone in there. They have some L-arginine. L-arginine, it helps increase the blood flow going to your organs. So there are some lubrications that have that. And it helps with foreplay because you know what? As you get older, sometimes things get a little bit harder. There's a lot of reasons why you may need lubrication, and we will get to that. Right now, there's some cons of lubrication. Not many. It's still very important to take advantage of lubrication, but using too much. You don't want to use too much lube because then sometimes you lose some of that friction. The first benefit is having a little bit of too much friction, but now you want some friction. So definitely don't use too much lube. I would say start off with a little pea-size amount and put that on and see how it goes. Also, depending on what lube you have, it can destroy condoms. You can see a little picture of my computer screen on my eyeglasses. That's why I was trying not to wear them, but how about if I go like that? Do I look like a secretary at the library? Anyway, see, if I had someone here with me, they'd be laughing at me. Either that or they just make fun of me. But anyway, they can destroy condoms, so you have to be careful what lubes you have and what condoms you use. So it can bother the latex of the condom, depending on what you have, which we'll get into also. And also some lubes can possibly stain. Usually the water-based lubes wash out pretty good, but silicone lubes can possibly stain your sheets. So you definitely don't want to use the, what are those sheets we used to use years ago? The silk satin sheets. That sometimes can get bothered by the silicone lube. So just put some towels down and make it nice and comfortable. And also some glycerin. Glycerin is a sugar, and a lot of the water-based lubes have glycerin in them. And the glycerin can cause infection, can cause irritation, and so sometimes that would be a con of lube. But otherwise, if you know your body and you try different things, I also have a lot of different samples. So if anyone has any interest, make sure that you reach out to me. You can send me an email at stacy@drstacy.org and feel free to share your address. I'll be happy to send you a different sample lube depending on your needs. I have some water-based, I have some silicone, and that way you could see what might work best for you. So that's an idea. So anyway, here we go, water-based lube. Some of my favorite water-based lubes are, well, I'll get into that when I talk about the different products, but basically the pros of water-based lubes. Okay, so now listen close. You have a water-based lube, and those can be used with silicone toys. So think, water-based is good for silicone, but water is not good for water. So anytime you have water play, you don't want to use a water lube because it just gets absorbed. Okay, it's basically like mixing oil with oil. It's going to get absorbed, but you're going to mix oil with vinegar and you will see they will stay separated. So when you are playing with the water-based lube, you can use something different than the water-based things such as not water. So silicone is good for the water-based. But anyway, we'll get into that a little bit more. But pros, you can be used with silicone toys, just as silicone cannot be used with silicone. So can be used with silicone toys. It washes out easily. It does not stain. And if anyone does have silicone sensitivity, which is pretty rare, water-based lube is good, so you don't have to worry about that. Some of the cons is that it doesn't last as long. And so many times you go to use a water-based lube, you wind up reapplying it over and over again. And so if that's the case, then you kind of have to keep getting interrupted. And sometimes it can get sticky and tacky, and then you're kind of like, and it doesn't feel as natural, and you're kind of you wind up getting an infection. So some of the other cons, like I said, it's not good in water. the glycerin, and it can be sticky and tacky. So at those times, I personally love the silicone lubes. The silicone-based lubes, they don't dry up. So you can actually just lick a little bit and it winds up reactivating itself. So the silicone lube is really amazing. And there's also a lot of different types of silicone lubes, and some are a little bit more organic than others. And what that means by organic is basically lubrications that have more quality ingredients that are natural ingredients, as opposed to weird words that you can't pronounce. So that's the one thing good about the silicone, is it doesn't dry up and you only need a little bit, and it could pretty much last through your whole session. That can be used in the water. Water does not go with water, but silicone can go with water. So if you're going to play in the pool, in the bathtub, in the shower, use silicone. Silicone is great. It's also really good for massages. So you can use a silicone lube for the massage because it doesn't dry up very easily, and it doesn't get absorbed into the skin. So it's a really nice coating to get into a really nice rub down massage. So some lotions that you may use for a massage may cause you to dry up a little bit faster. So the silicone is great. Sensitive skin, we use silicone. There's also, like I said, less irritants in it, like the WaterBased that has the glycerin. So that's a pro of the silicone. Now, some of the cons for silicone would be that it's not compatible with silicone toys. And that's kind of like I say, water is not good with the water. Silicone's not good with the silicone. So you want to make sure that if you are using a silicone-based, you do not use it with a silicone toy. Because what happens is that the silicone interacts with the silicone, and it could wind up destroying some of the toy's components. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Cyberskin, or, you know, the toys that are very, let's see if I have one here. I don't know, somewhere. I have toys all around here. But anyway, the toys that are like the masturbation sleeves that are like fleshy looking, those are not good. Those are called like Cyberskin. Those are not good with silicone because those will break down right away as well. So stay away from that. The silicone can stain, and sometimes it's a little harder to wash off just because it doesn't get absorbed. And if you're playing in the shower, be careful you don't drop a lot on the floor because it could be slippery. And it is more expensive, but in reality, you're not using as much. So even though it might be more expensive, it's probably going to last you a lot longer than a water-based lube. So those are just some cons, but honestly, if you are not in the shower using it and you're being careful that if you are in the shower, not to pour any on the floor and you don't slip, silicone lube is the way to go. And then there's also a hybrid lube. The hybrid lube is kind of nice too, because what that is, it's kind of like that happy medium between the water-based and the silicone. So it's kind of like a mix of both, where you kind of have the best of both worlds. It could be potentially less irritating. It does last longer than the water-based, not as long as the silicone, but at least it's for kind of like that in-between thing, and you can use it with all toys and anything that has safer sex barriers, such as condoms. So the hybrids are good for those types of things, where you don't want to use, like I said, certain lubes on the condoms, but something like the hybrid lube is something that's good to use for anything. Here, let me show you an example of a hybrid lube. See? Right there. And it says hybrid on it. Silicone-free personal lube. This one is actually a fusion of water and coconut oil. And coconut oil is very, very good for the skin for people that do have some sensitivities. So, oops, almost threw this off the computer, off the table. So that's really, really good for people that are not really sure which one they want, or they're a little more sensitive to the water but want some of the silicone. So anyway, and also some facts about lube. 48.36 million Americans use personal lubrication in 2019. So that's really good too. And don't use Vaseline as a lubricant. It's Not good for you. Not good for you. And 70% of women at some time or another have complained about painful sex and have a little bit of a discomfort asking about lube. So it's just something to think about. Make sure you always have some at the bedside and don't feel bad about taking some lube and using it. I have some really, really great lubes, a water-based lube, a silicone lube, and an edible lube. So take a look at these. See? These are all Intimate Earth. So if you go to drstacyfriedman.com and you use TTT20 for 20% off, you can get some of these great products for water-based, silicone, and there's a lot of different flavors for edible. So those are a few things that are fun to do. And basically my law of sex tonight is that lube supports emotion and motion. So make sure you use it. Take your emotion, bring it to motion, and use lubrication. So I know tonight was a little different than the other nights, but hopefully you got some great information that'll help you have some great sex and be more comfortable. And I am Dr. Stacy. Feel free to check out my website at drstacyfriedman.com. You can get a free download of my book. And for the women out there, join my Facebook group, Women Only, Intimacy, Sex, and Empowerment. And if you have any questions, reach out. See you next time. I might be taking 2 weeks off, so I'll let you know when I'll be back. Take care. Have a good night. Use lube. Bye.